welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we are here at GP1 Racing with the Civic behind me, and we have a few updates today. Not all of them are going to be good, but it's fine. It is what it is. Let's get into today's video. So if you missed the last video, you'll have to check it out. It's my FL2K recap video and pretty much going over the car and what needed to be done to race at World Cup Finals for Mean Street class. Now the way this car sits, I've explained this in several videos before, but I'm gonna explain it again. This car is ready for Super Street class. Unfortunately, I did not qualify for Super Street. Whenever you register, you have to prove your ET that you run an ET of XYZ and below. I couldn't do that. My ET is not low enough to qualify for that class. But I did qualify for Mean Street, so I was able to register, which requires me to go with a smaller size turbo. Everything else pretty much stays the same, essentially. But changing my turbo setup will require me to change the up pipes and probably the manifold, because we found out that the turbo I was going to run does not come in a V-band and only comes in T4. This manifold is a V-band. So a lot of little things that we're gonna have to change, and honestly, I ran out of time, guys. So World Cup Finals is the first week of November in Maryland. If you haven't checked it out or heard of the event, be sure to check it out. It is the Super Bowl of drag racing. I have been watching World Cup Finals for years now. Even before I used to attend, I would watch it on TV. You can watch it live every year. It's always been my dream to race at this event, and unfortunately I didn't get to make that happen this year. To be honest though, guys, I didn't have enough time to do everything. So here we are today, guys. Setup's pretty much the same. I did take the transmission out, replace third gear here at GP1 Racing. Huge shout out to Mark for helping me with everything. We were able to replace, it was third and fourth that ended up being hurt. So we removed the trans, got all that fixed, put the transmission back in, and as you can see, all that is left is to add trans fluid. So gonna be trying out this new stuff. I got some Liquid Moly gear oil. Huge shout out to Liquid Moly for joining me on my race season. They have partnered up with me on fluids, so we've got all the gear fluids along with oil as well. So today I'm gonna be filling up the trans with their fluid. That is the last step, and yeah, it'll be sitting here pretty until after World Cup Finals. I will say, guys, I'm actually pretty bummed that I cannot race at World Cup Finals. It sucks, but I will be going still in person to support my friends, my team. We've got Nicole, Miss PSI Racing, we've got Brianna Racing, we've got Mark from GP1 Racing. Pretty much all of my friends are racing except me. Like I say, guys, trust the process. Within time, I'll be able to hopefully compete at this event. I still have a lot of work to get the car dialed in. I've only driven it at FL2K. That was my first time ever driving the car. In my opinion, I haven't even dialed the car in yet. We only made 1 through 3 hits. Every time I got into fourth, for some reason my brain was telling me just to let off. And I think a lot of it was really just in the back of my head, just from the accident and not being able to slow down in time. I'm just automatically getting into fourth, and fourth, you feel a lot of power in fourth. So I think once I feel it kick in, it's kind of like, all right, let's get ready for the shutdown part. So just gotta get past that little tweak, I guess, and I think we'll be pretty good. We've got some promising data. Just got to do my part as a driver, so we'll see if we're able to make that happen. After World Cup Finals, I will definitely be going testing again. I'm going to try to get the car dialed in and lower my ET, because I have another event coming up in December. This is probably the last race event that I'm going to be attending this year. I mean, this year's almost over with, but there's one in OSW, Orlando Speed World. I think it's called Sport Compact Finals. I'll put the little flyer here. I will be there that weekend in the X front wheel drive class, hopefully kicking some butt. If not, at the end of the day, it's all about getting better as a driver, becoming more consistent. So even after this event, I pretty much will just be testing the car and just going. I want to get out there frequently, at least 1 to 2 times a month, just go testing. And once the car's dialed and we got that low ET and I'm more consistent as a driver, I think we'll be good. We'll just be ready for events. We have some time. I would say after December, major events don't really start until March. So I've got quite some time to get this all figured out. I'm really excited, and my event schedule next year is going to be crazy. I'm definitely attending way more race events, so be on the lookout. Soon I'll be posting the 2024 race event schedule. I'll be doing the racing way more than the car show stuff. I do love the car show stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I'll be doing a select few car shows with Tuner Evolution, but other than that, the race schedule is gonna be pretty full next year. All right, so here we have the gearbox, guys, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to say I'm thinking, but Mark is really pushing me to do a sequential setup. That is a new thing now in the class that is accepted, even though it's frowned upon amongst many racers, and I get it. I mean, it takes away a lot. It's different. We're all used to the H pattern, but with a sequential, we don't break as many parts, guys. These gears, just the third and fourth gear that I had to change came out to $1,200, and those are just the gears. Where it comes to sequential, yes, some of the parts are pretty similar when you break down the inside, but I feel like they're just way more reliable. So, I don't know. I'm gonna keep this setup for now, but eventually maybe I will try this sequential setup. I do want the sequential in my Evo more than anything. That's a street car, and for the roll racing, I feel like that is the ultimate setup. But I don't know, in the drag world, I'm one of those people that are like iffy about it. So there's a few people in the class running it, mainly people with K-Series, to be honest, because there isn't a B-Series sequential that's created that's strong enough to handle the power yet. Don't get me wrong, there's a few people that are running it, but they're pretty much on a ticking time bomb, because when it comes to the K-Series sequential, we have billet casings and things like that, where B-Series don't have all that. Again, it's something that's kind of new into this X front-wheel drive community, I should say. I don't want to say the drag world. People use sequentials all the time. There's people who hate it, there's people who love it, but as a racer who has to spend constant money on parts, it seems like the sequential is a little bit more reliable, where we're not having to replace second, third gear and stuff like that all the time. So it's in the air. May make the switch at some point, but for now I just want to get the car dialed in as is. And then once we're ready to be more competitive and shave down our ET, then I think that maybe I'll make the switch. All right, guys, so that's a small update. That's pretty much it. Really nothing much changed other than us dropping the transmission, fixing the third and fourth gear, and the car's pretty much ready to go. All right, so speaking of sequentials, Mark is here actually repairing one, I would say, right?
Refreshing. We had some issues with some cuts at the last race, so had to repair a gear, but you know, that happens in drag racing. Sensors break, so when a sensor breaks, stuff other than the sensor breaks. Doing this quick one right before World Cup. You know, everybody wants their transmissions before World Cup, or their parts, let me rephrase that. So this is the last one we got to do, and then we're out the door.
What is your opinion on the whole sequential change from H pattern? Because that's something you recently did. So for those who may or may not know, Mark is number 2 on the all-wheel drive list, right?
Yes. Depends on what list you're
right. That's very true. There's like 20 different lists out there, but essentially he's the second fastest.
In the overall list, yes, we are the second fastest. And if you want to go the quote-unquote H pattern, we're the third fastest.
There you go. Well, because he recently made a switch from H pattern to sequential, and I feel like once you guys made that switch, even without changing anything internally like turbo size or anything like that, you guys automatically saw a difference.
When we went apples to apples, didn't change any shift cut times, didn't do anything. It actually went 738 on an H pattern and went 738 on a sequential. After seeing that data, we noticed that we could reduce the shift cuts, so that's what helped us, you know, improve our ET to 727. Unfortunately, these K transmissions with that OEM shift weight takes a lot of maintenance and patience. If you're not on top of that, you can ruin a gear very quickly. But on a sequential, you don't have to worry about that in a K-Series.
And you would say that basically the major difference between the two so far is you're able to lower your shift cuts, which obviously improves your ET.
Yes, and the 5-speed. I think the 5-speed is the bigger factor when it comes to reliability, because now I can reduce my RPMs by about 800 RPMs out the back, which is just going to help engine life, rockers, you know, live longer. That's another issue we had with K-Series. I don't know if it was just us or, you know, many people. We were breaking rockers if we were quite often, and it was actually what happened last year at World Cup, and that is why we didn't do as well, because we actually broke a rocker and didn't notice it till after we got the car back here. It was something we overlooked, you know, when we were going over routine maintenance. But the 5-speed helps a lot, and you know, with these reduced shift cut times, that allows it to be almost the same amount of time as a 4-speed. but you're getting the acceleration of a 5-speed.
So overall, you would say shift cuts, the extra gear, essentially, I guess you could say, because it's for...
Correct. So you can reduce the time in a gear because you have another gear in which that increases acceleration, which in theory should increase or reduce your ET.
There you have it, guys. This is the one that's pushing me to go sequential for these reasons. So, I don't know. I've been telling everybody how it's like kind of it's new. It's new to the platform, I guess. They just added that into the extreme front wheel drive class. That's never been accepted.
Now it's called X-Street. Yeah, they added it. It was first added up north, and then, you know, everybody kind of conformed because they're trying to keep the rules the same. And then Vic added it to FL2K, and then now Jason Miller added it to World Cup.
So essentially, it's legal at all events now.
I don't know of an event that it's not. My biggest thing is, if it helps reliability and keeping parts in the car, I'm all for it. But don't get me wrong, for 2 years I didn't run a sequential because I was in the same boat of like, oh, you know, it makes driving easier, da-da-da-da-da, all that fun stuff that everybody talks about on the internet. But I'm also for it as a spectator because I like close racing, and if a car breaks every other pass because the transmission's bad, that's not fun to watch.
Right. So, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see over the next couple of years how this progresses and changes, because just like anything, when there's new rules, no one's going to like them at first, you know, so it's going to take some time for everybody to, I guess, make the switch, I guess, even though I was telling them as well that the thing with the B series, at the moment, they don't really have a sequential that could be built as strong as ours. Because with the K series, we have the billet casing, we have several billets.
We have an option out there. It's just a special order right now, which isn't like, you know, you can get this off the shelf. This is a Quave sequential. PPG has theirs coming out. So, you know, that's off the shelf stuff. Right now, to get a B series from Quave, it's a special order. That doesn't mean you can't get it, but you just have to know it's a special order. It's not an off the shelf.
Right. It's not readily available like these are, essentially. So, yes. I don't know. It's a big topic there. Let me know, guys, below in the comments. What do you think your opinion is? Do you guys are all for the sequential, for the reliability, for the closer racing, or you guys just old school and just say H pattern or no way, basically? All right, guys. So you'll have some updates there. We'll see what happens in the long run. For right now, the car's gonna stay as is. So we'll see. That's enough talking. Let's get this trans fluid in. Hopefully when I get back from World Cup, I'll be planning that out. I want to at least make a few more hits on the car before the event in Orlando in December. So be on the lookout, because I'll definitely will be recording the next few test sessions that are coming up. All right, so before we end today's video, Mark wants to demonstrate how this works. Pretty much. This is a Quave sequential built by Mark. He offers all the parts.
So yeah, we build these in-house. We clearance them all, you know, just like we do on our H patterns, but just kind of wanted to give a rundown. Instead of, you know, you have the standard pull, push, you know, in an H. Here you're just pulling. So basically what it's doing is there's a barrel that goes down, and as you can see right here, the fork is sitting on this barrel and it rides in a groove the whole time. So what you're doing when you're actually pulling the lever, you're moving this barrel. As you can see, that fork is going up and down. I'm pretending that the lever is on here that you're pulling and pushing, which is right here. So this actually goes into the trans. The cable connects to this, and this actuator moves as you're pulling or pushing.
So the cable will connect to this all the way to the shifter.
Correct. So when you pull to go up in gears, it's actually moving the lever this way. So it's moving the barrel. There's teeth on here that actuate the barrel to move it. So I'm gonna mimic what would happen. So right now it's in neutral. If I pulled the lever, that's first gear. I pull it again, second gear. Pull it again, that's third. Pull it again, that's fourth. If you watch, this gear will drop now. That's fifth. And this is a race transmission, so we have a double neutral. So I can pull again, and now I'm in neutral after you cross the tracks.
So you would say normally you would go 1 through 5, and then to get back in the neutral, you usually go back up. But
Correct.
for the race transmissions, you go back one more time, and you're back in
Correct.
neutral.
So there's a modification that Momentum has made to allow drag racers to now pull back one more time so you're in neutral, so you don't have to sit there and ride with the clutch down after you cross the tracks.
Cool. Seems pretty simple.
It is. Once you know kind of the ins and outs. That's why I say, you know, this is more reliable at the end of the day and makes racing more enjoyable for the fans to watch, in my opinion. But, you know, it's all that. Are you an H-pattern fan, or are you just a true race fan for close racing? You know, again, I was in the same boat. I was a diehard H-pattern. But sometimes to progress, you have to try different things.
Agree. I think in the end, it just comes down to when you've done everything you can in the car to be the most competitive and all of that, if something like this comes out where you could actually shave your ET and be faster, why wouldn't you give it a try? So, and it's clearly done that, but I don't know. I'm still Team H-pattern at the moment. All right, guys, so there you have it. Team H-pattern or Team Sequential. Which one are you? Comment below, let me know, and let me know why too, because I'm curious. But like I said, for right now, I think I'm going to be sticking with the H-pattern, but eventually I think I want to give the Sequential a try just to see what it does. And I think during that time, it's when I have lowered my ET tremendously, and I want to become more competitive, more consistent at that as well. So we'll see. Lots to come, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a short little catch-up video, giving you guys updates on my next event that's coming up, why I'm not going to World Cup. So if you're watching this video and you're attending World Cup, come by the GP1 Racing tent. I'll be there supporting Mark. I'll be there walking around the pits, pretty much supporting all my friends that are there, but mainly around there. So hope to see some of you guys. Unfortunate that I couldn't bring the car, but there's always next year. That's going to be a goal of mine for sure next year. Let's see if I can make it happen. Thank y'all for watching. As I say, guys, trust the process, never give up. I'll catch you on the next one.